What's up? What's up? Big brand MMA, UFC, Paris. Let's make some cash.
Shouts out, Big Steve.
Hello. Welcome back. I brought my special friend Evan back on. And like usual, as soon as I associate with this man, I'm for some reason, I'm in Twitter controversy, even though I've done nothing to this person. But yeah, how are you, sir? Welcome back. It's been a while.
Steve, thanks so much for having me on, buddy. Always a pleasure. I don't know. I tagged Martian. I was kidding around, trying to contextualize. You know, we've known each other a few years now. And that's a funny story. When you came into his Discord, you were new to Discords, I think, and some threads were deleted. He got all upset, kicked you out, and this was like an hour after I brought you in. And then I was like, who gives a fuck if he accidentally deleted a couple threads in the Discord? It was an accident. Like, you could just make new ones. And then I deleted a thread to make a point, and I got kicked out. So it was a whole thing back in the day. I don't know. Martian maybe didn't get over it as well as we did. But that's okay. We soldier on. Steve, thanks so much for having me, buddy. UFC Paris. We need to make some money this week, buddy. I lost that bet earlier today. We need to make some money.
We sure do. Should be all right. It feels like a really good card for betting. I listened to your ex-employees group video with Pepe was on it, and Pepe, I echo Pepe's sentiments that it's a card that you feel like just playing every single bet, and I kind of feel like that. And that's not the Steve way. So I already have one bet. I think I'll have more. And yeah,
I got a few bets.
Let's get into it, shall we? All right. So first fight. I'm trying this new little layout. Let me know if it works. If it doesn't, something different. And also, my internet doesn't work this morning, so I'm using my phone. So hopefully it's not choppy. I've done this before with Subliminal, last year for Contender Series. Every Wednesday, my internet was shit at my parents' house. So see how we go, right? So Bolaji, Oki, Chris, Duncan. So I know people on both sides, taking the all... taking the dog and then taking the on minus 200. Oki thinking he's going to cover because Duncan's not the best. I left feeling like I didn't really want to do either, Just not a fight I was interested in. Oki seems good. I played him in his Contender Series debut against Salvador, who's a good striker, and he kind of did more than I expected there. And then he did less than I expected against Kwamba. I'm not really high on Kwamba personally. Still regret to this day not fading him against Almeida. And yeah, that wasn't a bullish look. And yeah, I don't think Duncan's that bad. Like, he's bad, but he's a lot more of a man than Kwamba is. I'll just say that. A lot more physical, a lot more power. Just slow and plodding. But he's got his ways of making this closer than minus 200. But I'm just not interested in this fight, so I moved on quick. What about you?
Same exact thought. I think the line's if I was going to line this fight, I definitely make Oki the favorite. Whether or not there's a bit of value on Duncan right now, I don't know. Duncan's not my favorite guy to play, honestly, just because I think he's chinny, and I think Oki can crack a little bit, and so I just didn't want to get involved. Pass.
Cool. Save some time, shall we? A lot of the time when I have guests on, it's really hard for them just to talk from a betting perspective. I have a lot of ramblers on. I'm guilty of being a rambler too. But yeah, I think we're going to be good, me and you today.
Yeah. This next one I want to talk about because I think we disagree. Right?
Well, we'll see. You go on. I'm gonna have to reply to Martian on Twitter because I can't let things go.
Okay.
So you do that.
So we got Nora Cornolle versus Jacqueline Cavalcanti. This is a rematch. These girls fought. I think it was Cornolle's MMA debut. Cavalcanti's second MMA fight. Cavalcanti won that fight. Both girls hurt each other at different points in the fight. Cornolle was very green back then. All right, so here's the deal. I taped Cavalcanti for the first time ever before her fight against Jousset Nunez. And she was minus 140 when I was taping her, and I passed. And obviously she closed it I don't even know, minus 210 or something. I know Pepe had a big bet on her. I was like, Nunez... She's that little dwarf with the good left hand, and I don't know. Cavalcanti, just her style to me. See, obviously she's got a great 1-2, long 1-2, manages range well. Seems like she's a little too comfortable being on the back foot. I don't like laying chalk on women or men, for that matter, who are 1-2 outside low kick, not a ton of power, but good. She's good. Don't get me wrong, but who prefer to they're not she's not blowing you away with volume either, and she's very comfortable in the back foot. So I passed against Nunes. It went to a split decision. Whatever. I know people who bet Cavalcanti were like, how is that a split? But people who bet Nunes were like, oh, yeah, see, that was close. That was value. Whatever. In this one, similar concept. There are people who are high in Cavalcanti, and I'm not saying she's a bad fighter. I think she's a good fighter. But I think the market might be overrating her a tad. Cornolle got the Muay Thai background, can strike a little bit. Definitely can't box as well as Cavalcanti. Kind of green on the ground too, but I've seen some flashes of, skill on the ground. Who the fuck knows? To me, it's dog or pass. And I did something here, thank you, where something I've been doing recently is I'll bet a unit on the big underdog, and then if I think it's what's this to go the distance? It's pretty chalky, the GTD. I'll put a unit on N split. GTD minus 325. So this is likely going the distance, and so if Cornolle wins a split, I hit both bets, it's red panty night. I did that against Hooker, or I did that with Hooker against Gamrot, cashed Hooker and split. And then I also recently did it, trying to think. But even if Cavalcanti wins a fucking split, it is in Paris. I don't know. I'm still bigly in profit. So that's my approach. A unit on the dog, unit on N split. It's WMA. That I've been having some success with this. So your thoughts, my friend?
Fair enough. Well, you're right. We do disagree. And I do have 2 units on Cavalcanti. My friend told me ages about it, and I was like, I'm not really, you know me, I'm not going to lay this minus a little bit better than minus 200. But then he got me with, I think this is your last day to lock it in before it gets under minus 200. I'm like, all right, well, he's really trying to give me a good bet here. So I look into it. Obviously, they fought the first time, and as close as to a 30-27 as it can get. I do think Cavalcanti, a lot of people saying, Cornolle, she's, first fight. I think it was Cavalcanti's second fight, so essentially the same thing. I bet Cavalcanti back in the day, even in PFL, when she lost a split to Jandrova, up at lightweight, two divisions up. And, I know her quite well, right? So I think that she's actually improved more, which makes sense. She's in her natural weight class. She looks shredded. She's had a couple of, high-level fights in LFA for the title and beat the crap out of that Corden girl, who I thought was a good striker herself. Essentially, I don't really see any improvements from Cornolle from that first fight. And, she's 34. She's got hurt almost in every round. She tried to wrestle, then she got out-grappled. So essentially, I just see Cavalcanti covering her everywhere. And, the only reason I didn't go 3, 4, 5 units or whatever is because the 4 weeks turnaround. But then I watched her interview, and she said after the win, she said, I want 2 more fights this year, so I'm going to stay ready for a short notice call-up. So that's what I'm actively looking for. And I guess that's why the UFC called her. And, she went back to Portugal, which is really close to France, so a small flight. One of the things, she was just training, keeping in shape. Hopefully she makes weight. Hopefully this other chick makes weight. She's a cheater. And, I will say, Cornolle, you look at her Edwards fight, should have lost. Still hasn't addressed the takedown defense, obviously. You look at a Mullins fight, people are parlaying Mullins, but then you tape Mullins, and there's a lot of intertape with, the Russian girl, because they're all fought each other. And she's just bad, man. She's extremely hittable and bad. And I remember thinking, I know Pepe was gloating about playing her. He loves that every now and then. And when I taped it, barely, and I was like, wow, why is this Mullins such a huge favorite? And then as the fight was playing out, and Mullins looked dead after 3 minutes. And not only that, everything about her was off that week. She missed weight as well, and just ate a knee to the body and just absolutely collapsed. So I just think this is Cavalcanti's fight to lose. Minus 200 or a little bit better, a bit juicy, but I think this is a step down from Nunes.
Let me just push back a little bit, and that's because we're friends and we could have some fun with it. Yeah.
Push back, I'll lean in.
I guess I was gonna say how does she win the fight? Sub, KO. I think she Sure, I think a 30-27 is within the car. Certainly within the cards. I mean, she's already done it. Yeah, I don't know. I just, she's not that dangerous to me. I know she hurt her in the first fight. I don't know. It just seems like most times it plays out where, like, kind of like the Nunez fight, where it's like so subjective. The judges are just so fucking terrible. This is -325 to go the distance. Weird shit happens, and I'm just kind of leaning into the weird shit sometimes and just hoping for the best, and sometimes it's happening. So, but yeah, all right. So we disagree there. All good.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I think if you're going to play Cornolle, it's split. I think that's literally her path. I do not see a unanimous decision.
She's got to make it dirty. She's got to make it dirty.
Yeah. But even then, if she does, I think she's going to keep getting dropped like she did in I even think this is a step down from Zara Fan. Right? Which was a short notice. It's just huge. That chick's huge. And Nunez has all the hardware. So Nunez was just pressuring for 3 rounds, and it gassed Cavalcanti out. And she's still, a lot of people were like screaming, "Oh, that shouldn't even been a split. That was a clear round 1 and 2 for Cavalcanti." Because she's just so much more technical. But yeah, Cornolle doesn't have that hardware. When she pressures, she gets hurt. She gets dropped. We've seen it the first time. If she grapples, she'll get taken down. Yeah, I have to play the favorite. That I do think she has finishing upside. Do you think she doesn't hit that hard? I just thought she played very patient against Fern and Nunez, but she almost knocked out Croton. She almost knocked out Jandrova in round 3. She dropped Cornolle 3 times, and then everyone else is a bum, and she's finished him. So I think she's got the finishing upside too. But yeah,
okay,
it is what it is. Who knows? I do have a little confidence increase. The fact that Pepe's on it. And he feels the same confidence. And Pepe is traditionally someone that will play Cornolle, like a big dog in a low women's MMA. So
true.
If he was on the other side, I would have been like, okay, he's.
Hey, let's go Cavalcanti by split again, and I'm in profit, so I'm happy.
It's possible.
Nope.
It's possible.
We all cash.
Let's do that. Well, not good for my heart, but it is what it is.
Yeah, hey, fuck it. Fuck your heart. Bankroll's more important these days.
Yeah. Alrighty. Daniel Barez versus Victor Altamirano. So I thought, I'll be passing on this fight. I'm kind of leaning past, but yeah, Barez, man, I'm leaning Barez. I think he's quite good. The line's obviously flipped, and I was asking people why they're flipping this line, and they just said to me, Barez is a flake. He falls apart, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, have you seen any other fight other than, his really extremely short notice debut against Filo, where he almost knocked him out 2-3 times, and then obviously he had a cardio death. And I think Filo is underrated. I think Filo has hidden potential to be a ranked fighter. See how he ran through Ode Osborne, and all the people that were glazing Lazy Boy, went to war with him. So yeah, he's on top of being a really good jiu-jitsu fighter. Filo actually has power. He had a really brutal knockout on Contender Series too. So yeah, essentially what it comes down to, Barez has the hardware edge. He's well-rounded. His one thing is being subbed. He's been subbed quite a lot, and whenever he's had issues, he got backpacked by old mate Hernandez on Contender Series, and even got armbarred by Cup back in the day from guard. But that that was like a verbal tap. I don't think he really tapped, but yeah, that's his issue. But he was taken down by Camilo, who's a black belt, and he didn't bother getting up. But then he just out-grappled. He thoroughly out-grappled Camilo in rounds 2 and 3. Took his back. He's got good front headlocks. Has all the power. Victor Altamirano, I just want to say, I'm not going to talk as much about other fights that I don't have bets on. I just want to make a point of how much I hate Altamirano and how much of a weasel he is, and how boring he makes the division by himself, the flyweight division. So the man just kicks, runs away, has no power, hits takedowns, has no control, just gets up, runs away again, avoids any sort of war, and then he just squeaks out a split decision. Or even when he looks massive value against Felipe dos Santos because he hit like 18 takedowns, he still loses because he's never going to win the damage versus control, right? So, I had no money there, and I know a lot of the boys that played him as a big dog, and I'm just so happy he lost that fight. Just holding on to dos Santos for dear life. I had money on Salvador, and 1-1 going into the third, and just like running away, going for a takedown, then flopping to his back, then getting up. I don't know how he won round 3 unanimously. Just no justice. I've hated him ever since then. So, yeah, I think Barez, providing he doesn't fall apart, because this, he does slow down quite a bit. I think he has all the finishing upside, the power upside, the big moment upside. I think he can even grapple. But Yeah, I haven't locked it in because Altamirano, he's just going to keep shooting over and over again. Even if he gets dropped, he's going to get up and shoot. And I hate weasels, man. What about you?
I bet Barez. I like it. I tracked it as 1.5 units, but I think I'm like actually up to 2 units because I hit it. I bet it again. He's a slight underdog here. The sentiment on him is very down. I mean, obviously losing to Jafel Filo the way he did. Oh, quitter, whatever. Dude, he's beating the shit out of Jafel Filo. It's an clear 10-8 round. Like, I almost feel like rather than prompting him to get up off the ground after the second time when he dropped him with the body kick, if he would have just followed up, man, that was the second time you dropped him, you probably get him out of there. But then he gets taken down, and then Filo's a good fucking grappler. He's on top of him, passes his guard, bam, arm triangle choke. Like, it wasn't a good look, but the guy is good. His striking is good. His lead hand that rips the body. His left hook is very, very good. Hits hard as fuck. He's fast twitch. I get the argument, he slows down a little bit. He does. But Altamirano can slow down too. Like, he slowed down, I thought, against Vinicius Salvador. And again, that fight was just so absurd, man. Like, I understand why you're frustrated with Victor Altamirano. He's weird out there. His style on the feet is so wonky. I wouldn't be shocked if Barez murders him in round 1. I would not be shocked if he got him out of there in round 1. Altamirano's never been knocked out, but he was hurt by Carlos Hernandez, who doesn't pack a ton of power. You know what else I've noticed? I did a lot of tape on Altamirano. He will throw some bullshit on the feet and then dip his head all the time, for fake takedowns. But it's almost like his striking defense is he doesn't slip or pull. It's just he just dips. And maybe grabs. And if there's a takedown there, he'll go for it. If not, he's gonna get kneed in the face by somebody who can just see this and just throw a fucking knee up the middle, and this guy's dead. Yeah, I'm on Barez, baby. Let's go Spain. Let's go Spain.
All right. Yeah, he's Victor's definitely on the spectrum, I have to say. Don't have to watch his whole career to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would love for him to get knocked out, but it's just the whole durability. I think he's extremely durable.
And that's the concern, This could be, a tale of two halves in this fight. Barez looks great the first 7.5 minutes, and then, Victor starts to work into the fight, but we'll see. There's live betting for a reason.
Correct. And, they've all fought, right? Hernandez, Victor, Hernandez, Barez.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I had Hernandez in that fight. Extremely unlucky not to win, man. He won round 1 clear. Then he hurt Hernandez so bad. His eyes roll behind and then he just falls over.
Mm-hmm.
Gets backpacked and still gets up and gets a takedown. But I guess, sometimes the judges just don't care about damage versus control. And even round 3 was competitive. I was sweating because, again, I had Hernandez and he just kept getting taken down by a gassed Barez. So,
and that's the thing here. Yeah, I know. If Barez is slowing down here, he might just be able to lay in Victor's guard for a little bit and catch his wind. That wasn't really an option with Filo.
Horrible takedown defense from Altamirano. I just don't know how that guy wins fights.
I know. I don't either. He's not good at fighting.
He's good at winning, right?
He's a weasel.
He's a bit like Marab, actually. Just runs away.
Yeah.
Even when he gets 0 for 18 against Aldo, he still wins at 29-28 somehow.
Do you want to hear something so super funny? Right before I came on with you, I was talking to Chad. Chad's all worked up. Is Chad in the? I don't know why the private chat for me. I can't see if anyone's chatting, but Chad is going on this. Yeah, I don't. There's no feed for me over here, which is fine. But it's just funny because Chad is hilarious. Chad is going on this show called Wager Wars tomorrow. And I went on this show. This dude, Cody, great dude, is doing this Wager Wars thing where a capper goes head to head against another capper. And I like the concept. And I did it before. It was fun. I'm going to do it next week. So Chad's going on tomorrow. And Chad's like, yeah, I'll do it. He's going up against this guy named Baby Sharp. With 130 followers, and Chad's all fucking worked up about it. He's like, this fucking guy, what the hell's going on here? If I lose to this guy, I'll never live it down. It's cracking me up, dude. He's absolutely killing me. I'm gonna set a betting line for it, Everybody tune into Wager Wars tomorrow to see Chad lose to Baby Sharp.
That's a classic. That's a classic setup. Chad's been brought on to fail.
Yeah.
That's like a brutal UFC matchmaking right there for Chad.
Dude, we got to blow up the chat. I can't wait for this. I'm so excited tomorrow. I'm gonna pregame it.
Dude, the chat's going wild.
Is it good?
Chad's not in there. Obviously, he's sweating and just extremely nervous. So
I was on private chat. Oh, I see the comments now. I'm a little autistic today. Sorry, I see the comments.
Must be the first time. How are you running the fight numbers marketing presence online?
I don't know. I'm a little rusty, as if you couldn't tell.
All right, let's move on. Ailin, Perez, Dariya, Zheleznyakova. Like and subscribe for that pronunciation, I should say. Yeah, I mean, the Russian is a popular dog. I get it. And if I didn't already have a juiced, female money line in Cavalcanti, I probably would have locked in Ailin Perez. I get it. I looked into the Russian. I was really close to fading her with Randon, and I don't think I'll ever play Randon in my life because every single win condition for Randon, for the worst fighters in the UFC, is a split decision. She split decision with Al, and then she lost the unanimous, but could have really been a split decision against Russian. And that's a bad look on the Russian. Cardio looked awful. I thought maybe UFC debut, whatever. Went back and watched her only other decision win against Jojua, who you could say maybe is her best win with Randon. It's up there. It's hard to see who's actually a worse fighter. And yeah, looked awful. In round 3, still looked kind of tired and looked like she's not a 3-round fighter despite Jojua having 0 success. So that's where I'm at. I think Perez, I see a lot of hot takes this week, not going to name any names, that Perez is not a good wrestler and that her striking is dreadful, which she just throws, right? She's going to win a lot of fights because she doesn't fight like a woman. She's very explosive and she throws. And a lot of these women don't throw. They don't sit on their punches, right? They don't have the imp factor. So she throws and she'll go for it and she'll swing and then she'll go for good takedowns for a woman, right? She'll slam girls. She'll go for double legs. She'll go good trips. So yeah, I just think she wins round 1 at a high clip. But there's something that in me that says this Russian, her best round is round 1 at a high clip, So she was busting up Melissa Mullins, who's average, whatever. But, I just think Perez takedowns will be free. I think her takedowns are a lot better than Randon. So, yeah, I don't want to say it's a dog or pass. I think Dariya is kind of drawing thin. I'm just going to lie better, see how the fight's playing out. Yeah.
Okay, it. I'll go. So I get it. I think that Perez is the warranted favorite here. I think she should be lined a favorite. Same concept. I just think it's too wide. I'm doing the exact same thing I did with the Cornolle fight, which is I'm betting the dog for a unit. Now I got plus 220. Unit on plus 220, and I got N split plus 500. If Dariya wins a split, it's a red panty night. If Ailin wins a split, I win fucking 4 units. Now, I think the end split is now like plus 400, and I'm not like an opener fucking smasher for all those people out there. It's not my style at all. And my unit size is like $250, $300, like, fluctuates in that range. So I can get a unit on that type of prop and feel pretty good about it. Now, the thing about Dariya, I get it. Her takedown defense is awful, and Ailin is a good wrestler. Anybody who says she's not a good wrestler isn't paying attention. She is a very good wrestler, but that's it, though. She doesn't have great ground and pound. She's not a sub threat. So if Dariya can just get up, I think sequencing is what's going to win these rounds. Ailin can get a takedown after a minute into round 1, spend 3 minutes on top, and then they're back up the final minute. And then it's like whoever wins that minute is going to win the round. The judges are so outrageously absurd that I'm just going to take the dog here and I'm going to take the end split. And that's my take. Dariya's 28 years old. She just fought Rendon and now she's fighting Perez. So if she's not in the gym grinding takedown defense and get-ups and cage wrestling, then she's just doing it wrong. And I can't assume that she's doing it right. But just you're going to get taken down. Just get up. Don't finish the round on your back. And if you can get up with a minute left on the clock, land some punches and flip a coin. So that's kind of my approach here. So that's it. Perez, if I thought she had finishing upside, maybe, but she gassed against Pudilova. I don't know. I think Dariya. I don't
Pudilova
know.
fight, there's a lot of all the asterisks for the Pudilova fight, right? She had staff, she was on a period, she was in hospital, on cutting weight, and then she came back and made weight.
Yeah.
She's a dog, man. There's no quit. There's no quit in Perez, whereas this other chick, I'm just not impressed. I'm not impressed at all.
Look how cute she is, though. She's cutie pie.
Hey, she's cute. I'll give her that, but I think also the standard is very low for female fighters.
Yeah.
I will say another thing. Her nose is constantly messed up, right? This Russian chick, right? They set her in Aries. She didn't get touched with anything in the Rendon fight, and she was busted up.
I know. She doesn't wear damage well.
I think Barez can crack her a couple of times. Like I said, she throws. There's just like so many things that screams really, really narrow margins for the Russian, So I like my dogs to have a little bit more chance than that. Unless they're, Aries FC dogs that have no chance at all, then I'll lock them in. But
same.
Usually I like a bit more chance than just like a split decision, potential. And if that's the case, then I can read the fight well and just get in live if I'm seeing that this is trending towards a split, And she's a big dog, so just trying to play a little bit safer. How do you cap in this? By the way, I just invited Martian in.
Wow, how about that? Talk about full circle.
And he says he doesn't care about me.
Well, I can confirm he probably does not care about you. But why?
They whipped out all those receipts
know,
from my Sherdog bets, and I'm like, what the hell? It's good to know he doesn't care about me, even though he's paying attention to my units and everything, and what I've been betting the last few months, and God knows more than freaking my parents. All right, anyway, let's move on. I didn't think he would come in here anyway. I just wanted to make sure. Just so passive aggressive. Everyone on Twitter is so passive aggressive. Why do people even like Twitter? I absolutely hate it. Just a bunch of like small bad cappers with big egos and small, fragile.
Dude, that's why I love this Wager Wars show with this guy Cody, because it's a lot of egos out there, and we're gonna test Chad tomorrow against Baby Sharp.
Well, you're really promoting that. That's the fight of the century, I guess.
I can't, dude. I'm going to set a betting line for it and everything. I'm going to take some action,
I'll bet. I'll research this Baby Shark guy, and I'll bet. I might put a house on it.
Let's go. I love it. Let's go.
Taylor Lapilus versus Vince Morales. I looked at all the Morales fights outside the UFC. There was no way I was going to look at his UFC career because it's quite boring, and I don't really like the guy as a fighter. Look, he looked like a world beater outside of the UFC, which there might be a chance that he's kind of improved. Usually his thing is low volume. But, it's like low volume against, who, right? Song Yadong and a couple of good fighters. Now his Zahabi win is actually aging quite well, isn't it? Right. But, yeah, he's doing well. He's throwing a lot more. He's got power. He's always had power. He was an underdog to Montoya in Ryzen. He came through, beat his ass. He beat Hunter Azure. Peruvian necktied him. So he's got a lot of he's hunting a lot of front chokes on the regionals, which we haven't seen that before. And he can mix in takedowns, which I guess that was Lapilus' weakness. But I mean, Lapilus in France, he always kind of seems like he might be minus EV because it's just always like a 3-round decision, striking-based decision, where he has to like defend takedowns. But I think this is a bit of a levels fight. So I'm not really interested in anything. I don't want to talk too much about it. Maybe overs. I haven't even looked at him. So... Yeah,
I agree. It's a total pass for me. Real quick look at the overs.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean GTD's minus 275. Yeah, I feel like Morales is durable, if nothing else. Pretty durable. I mean, he was stopped once in his career, I think, but there's leg kicks by Gutierrez, if I'm not mistaken. And Lapilus isn't much of a finisher, so I think I'd rather play the GTD than Lapilus' money line. But it's a pass. I agree. Levels fight. I've never been a Vince Morales guy. I didn't tape his recent stuff, so just pass.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those fights. You probably parlay and Lapilus or decision because, Old Mate is extremely durable.
Yeah.
But the overs are horrible, man. The overs are just, wow. Horrible overs. Speaking of horrible unders, all right, Not bad, not bad. Ludovic Klein versus Roberts. I haven't looked into it. I know Roberts is not that guy. He's never been that guy. I remember I played him big against Jim Miller, and then I hedged with Jim Miller round 1 sub, which was huge numbers. And then I was like, oh wow, why did I not just play that instead of the no value money line? But anyway, yeah, he always gets finished when he loses. So I guess Klein should be able to finish him. I understand the minus 200 for the under 2.5. Not parlayable. That's probably the only thing. Maybe look at a way that Klein can finish him. But Klein has gone to a decision against some dudes that he should have finished. Guy Herbert, Chinny, AJ Cunningham. KO was free there, but from all the tape, I was like, I think maybe the guy can survive. I don't know. You have any strong reads on this one?
No, not really. I agree. Roberts is not that guy. I played him back in the day, 2021, against Ignacio Bahamondes, and he just got this shit beat out of him pillar to post, and then there was that highlight reel spinning wheel kick that knocked him out in round 3. And honestly, that was so deserved because he just fought like such a pussy. I mean, he got hurt and choked by Kevin Kroom. He's not good. He's not good. Klein, I agree with you. If you want to play it, think about Klein sub or knockout and see which number is wider and take a shot on that. But again, I think Klein finishes him. But if he just lays in his guard, I'll be fucking pissed. Pass. Just pass.
Fair enough. Let me share some of these comments. I've been very negligent to my boys. I've got a lot of listeners, probably thanks to you, I will say. Pirate. Chat is getting mugged by Baby Sharp.
Cannot wait.
It's Baby Sharp, dude. Baby Sharp.
Baby Sharp.
These guys don't even listen. You've been exposed as not a proper listener. Yeatson. Martian, one of the biggest pussies out there. I agree. I just told them to keep being salty in the chat. Vince going to be too overconfident and get knocked out. I don't know. His one knockout was by calf kicks when I played the over, which is why I hate Gutierrez and I hate calf kickers and I hate everyone. Yeah. Just whenever I play the over, I get calf kick KO. Come on, man.
Yeah.
This one. Do you guys ever cap fights from a rigged script angle? I sure do. I'm very passionate about it. I just don't talk about it because I don't want to lose half my audience. But yeah, there's a lot of it. I think he goes on a lot. Cyril Gahn, John Jones, I'll die on
that was very dicey.
I will die on that hill. That fat fuck John Jones was never going to beat Gahn in a 5-rounder.
I bet Gahn.
I don't give a shit.
What was the other one you said? Aldana?
On the same card was Shevchenko versus the first fight versus Grasso.
Oh, okay.
Because look at the third fight. Look how the third fight played out. Just kind of, and look, the stand up from Herzog, for no reason. I was just waiting for a stand up in the third fight. It didn't happen. They just let Valentino work. But those fights I already decided were fixed before it happened, and I was paying attention for a week, and there was all these like red flags. Like they were conditioning us already for the fix. It was I talked about it a few times. They put out an article about how bad Cyril Gahn's grappling is on Monday. His training partners. I'm like, why would you put that out in the media on fight week? And then everyone is like sharing on Twitter. This is what I've been saying. John Jones round 1 sub, and then like all the people lapping it up, and then the audience was like believing that when that round 1 guillotine comes. Oh, see, we knew his grappling was bad. We've seen that article about it 5 days ago.
Interesting.
But,
Here's what I'll say.
If you're not a smooth brain, you can think outside what the articles on Twitter tell you.
This is, and I'm not saying anything is or is not rigged. I for sure think that in the history of the UFC, there's been at least some rigging going on. Who knows to what extent? I think it's very few and far between, very rare. The Gahn fight with Jones, I believe, was very, very sketchy.
I mean, it's been proven. There's been a few attempted fixes in the UFC like years ago. Okay, but I think it's happening more as the sport grows. Like you see, every sport has it. That's a fact. Like NFL, like NBA, they're like a lot more guilty of it. But I think as UFC is becoming mainstream, I think we're just seeing so much like more things are happening. The judges are like, they've never been worse, man. 30-27s.
I know the judges are terrible. I don't know the answer. We could have this conversation another day. I do think that sports betting in general is massive now. And I think a lot of guys are betting and it's just more public and it's not taboo. So it's all out in the open and you see these bad beats and everyone wants to cry fix or rigged. And it's just like everybody's betting everything. And so there's always going to be shit that goes on. But I do think there is some, credence to it. But
there's a fine line between, coping as an excuse why you lost your bet and just kind of, acknowledging that was very fishy,
And here's what I'll say too. And last point on this, and we can move on. I start every week in the prelims, in the fucking gutter. Because if this shit is going to be fixed, these people need to sign an NDA, I would assume, right? And they're talking about millions of dollars. The fucking prelim fighters who are on 12-12 contracts, no one's going out of their way to fix that shit. You know what I mean? Like, I start in the gutter. It's like pretty rare that I'll bet a UFC main event these days.
You're right. It probably does happen. And we've seen it, like co-main and main event on that card, Grasso, and then sets motion the
Let's set up a trilogy. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, Gon, we need you to take a dive because John Jones is our show pony, but he'll choke you out. No big deal. You won't get hurt. You won't get a concussion.
And even in the second fight, the 10-8 for Grasso, which made the fight a draw. Otherwise, Valentino would have won.
That's a good point, dude. Yeah, I know. I hear you.
Yeah. And I had money on Grasso there, but I actually thought it was 1-1 going into the fifth. I thought she won normally. And then, but yeah. Anyway, that's fun. Nice little segue. So now I'm not going to address any comments for the rest of the show. Jax, what's up, Mushroom? Alrighty. Next fight. Oumar C. Dawood Jung. So, yeah, another one. I just kind of refreshed with my boy C. I know him from KSW, actually. I love betting KSW. So they brought him in. Mr. Worldwide, been all around the world, Octagon. And yeah, I guess it makes sense. If you're getting rinsed out there by Devin Clark, you probably should lose to Oumar C. But, I'm not really... Something about C, there's one fight that he went to decision in KSW, and he's not really like that dangerous. Like the guys that he submitted, Alcantara, 2 Kotokos on like 1 day's notice. They're not the best fighters, and he's shown some issues. Like he's been hittable. He's kind of one-dimensional. I hate betting these one-dimensional wrestlers that don't have, much damage upside unless they're flattening you out. So, yeah, I'm not really running to bet Jung. I think Jung has been overrated for a long time. His last 3 losses are not aging well. Sure, he lost, Olberg's good, but getting submitted by Olberg is, again, another fight that I don't have much to say and not much interest to look into deeper.
Yeah, same. I hardly looked into this one. It's one that obviously it's a very chalky line and, light heavyweights, a little more volatility. Just a pass for me. I think C should be the favorite. I think if he gets on top, should do whatever he wants. So, but again, pass. He's not that active. I wish he would fight more. What he fight twice last year? He fought in May of this year, and he fought twice in 2023. Yeah, wish he would fight a little bit more. And then Dawood Jung guy stinks. I'm just not into it.
Yeah, I think C is like it's got because I don't know if he's fought in America, so he might have some visa and stuff issues. So he's had a lot of cancellations. Like no one wants to fight a light heavyweight grappler that you can just maul you. It's
right.
A bit of a. He's not even ranked, so he has to fight bums, and the bums just don't want to fight him. Well,
right,
makes sense. Funny, we said this card is good for betting, and then we just had like 3 or 4.
There's a lot of fights on the card, though. There's a lot of
passes. Yeah. Yes. Well, this one's split the masses, right? So Perez, Ziam, at Frevola. I know people on both sides, which traditionally for me it's a pass because I don't like to split the middle of the public that's split. I don't like to just pick a side because they tend to play out pick 'em. They tend to play out pick 'em, and if they don't play out pick 'em, usually the line moves a lot in one direction, and some guys, like 60%, ends up 60% before the fight card starts. So be like Torres versus Chris Duncan, started off pick 'em, played it, and then, he ended up being a big favorite and covered. So after tape, I was like, yeah, I kind of lean that way. Ziam, more patient, more clean. Frevola is just screams volatility, but he's had this kind of fight twice in a row. People saying he's never been out of round 1. He's been out of round 1 back-to-back, back in the day against Turner and against Pena. Both guys taller than Ziam, that long, tall style, and same reach as Ziam. I would say both have, I think it's non-negotiable that Jalen Turner has more power than Ziam. I think he's a lot more physical too. And yeah, I actually forgot that that was a 30-27, bit of a surprise. So Frevola 30-27, Jalen Turner. He's always had those issues with the takedown defense. And Pena was actually much, Luis Pena, RIP to that guy's career. There's just all sorts of crap happening outside of UFC for him. But yeah, he was a lot more competitive, and he had the jiu-jitsu upside to kind of, hit submission attempts on Frevola and reverse him and went for a buggy choke. That's the first time I've actually seen a buggy choke. I didn't know what the hell. I thought that was a stupid move. I thought Pena was an idiot. But now, people are hitting that all the time in MMA. And, he just knocked out a bunch of bums. And his decision, I'm quite bullish on his decision loss to Armin as well. He kind of wobbled Armin in round one. When he was fresh, he was reversing Armin, throwing him around. He's a good grappler, Matt Frevola. He's hard to hold down, and he's good offensively. So, but I don't know. It's just the volatility and that chin and the defense. But Ziam doesn't have the dog in him, man. He doesn't have the dog in him. We've seen when people like Vendramini just put the gas down on the pedal, you almost knocked them out in round three. We've seen Claudio Puelles, just go to a split with him. But he won that fight because he's well-rounded, and he throws good ground and pound. So I just feel like if Frevola loses some positions, Ziam's good at reversing, man. Like he beat Malaki by reversing, getting on top of him, landing more ground and pound. It just feels volatile. It just feels like, Frevola can take him down and wrestle him. And I feel like that's why people are hammering Frevola. But it's like, he hasn't really mauled anyone with the wrestling. Like, he didn't maul Luis Pena. It was a split decision. He kind of mauled, Jalen Turner. But we see Jalen Turner hasn't improved at all. You see his Moicano fight was a pathetic look. We'll talk about that later. You take down Jalen Turner a couple times, he's just going to fall apart. So, yeah, volatility. I guess if gun to my head, I'll play Frevola just because I feel like this is a step up for Ziam. I don't rate any of these wins. Jay Herbert, Figlak, Claudio Puelles, Vendramini. I don't rate any of them. Right, so Frevola will pass for me, but I just see how the week goes. I don't want to force anything on the public split fight. What about you?
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything you said. I bet Ziam for 2 units at plus 102. So I got the last of the plus money on Ziam, and that was on FanDuel. But right now, I don't think I'd bet Ziam. I think it's accurate right now. I think that Ziam has a lot of things working for him. Just being that it's in France and he's 27 years old. He's 27 years old. You know what I'm saying? He's still filling out his frame. He's tall. He is skilled, for sure. He's skilled. He's a good striker, and he's, had some issues with grappling men in the UFC, and he's struggled. I mean, this is the battle of Terrence McKinney's children right here. Matt Frevola is chinny as fuck, but Ziam's not a big hitter. But he's got pretty good knees that can sneak up the middle, and Frevola doesn't move his head. That's why he gets knocked out so much. Like, his head, it just stays where it is. And if he is shooting, it's not impossible that Ziam just lands a knee up the middle. I don't think he hurts him with his hands, but who knows? Maybe Frevola's chin is just dust. He just got knocked out by Saint Denis in his last fight. It's been a while. He took some time off, which is good. But, traveling across the Atlantic Ocean to take on a Frenchie who's 27, I think that the line right now is probably pretty accurate. And look, I understand Frevola has been to decision, but he's 34 now, and he hasn't been out of round one in quite a while, right? Like 3.5, 4 years, something like that. So his cardio, I'm not convinced he can go a hard 15 anymore. I don't know. We haven't seen it. So I think Ziam is the rightful favorite. I think he should win the fight, but it is volatile. Frevola is tough as fuck, and he's got a path to victory. But I took Ziam, so we'll see.
Yeah, a few things I disagree with, a few things I agree with. So we'll probably just go around in circles if I address them all. But yeah, I think his cardio is good. He fights at a very, very high pace, and all the wrestling he does as well. It's quite. I don't think Ziam's cardio is anything amazing either.
Like, what was the last? So all right, when Frevola's cardio is good now. I don't know that it's good now. I know that it was at a time good. I mean, the Armin fight was 2021. That's the last time he's been at a round one.
Yeah, but why would it randomly be bad when he's?
But that was January 2021.
Why would it be bad when generally all he has is like cardio and heart? Like why would he just? It seems it's like a Diego Sanchez. That's generally like his genetic makeup. Like he's a cardio guy that pushes the wrestling pace. Like, why would he just become gassy?
Steve, how old are you? Let me ask you a question.
32. Just turned 32.
Well, happy birthday, mate. I'm 35. We're at that age, bro. We're at that age where the injuries are piling up. He's got a baby who looks super cute, and I love betting on dads. But I don't know. Where's he? Like, the Cerro Longo team kind of split up because he says he's training in Tampa. I don't. Who the fuck knows? Like, just because he once had a motor 4 years ago, we'll see. We'll see. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, others. Go on. Sorry.
That was pretty much my full point. I just think that he's 34 years old now, and Father Time.
I get you. I just want to say that I think that's since day one in the UFC, he's been like a guy with great grappling cardio for 3 rounds, and I don't want to assume that he doesn't have that because I've never seen it, you know. And Ziam doesn't push a pace, and whenever he was pushed, he kind of slowed down himself. So, but yeah, I just want to address this one. Hey, people have told me that I don't even look 32, but apparently Dixon thinks I look 47. Jesus, what can I say? Can't please anyone, right? Everyone, as long as my girlfriend's pleased.
Dixon's a ball buster. I think you don't look a day over 31.
I'm ahead.
I'm not saying Frevola has bad cardio. I'm just saying I don't know that he has good cardio this Saturday night. That's
but you do. But there's plenty of footage
from several years ago when he was a younger man in his prime. Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
I just want to say that actually Frevola did DM me.
Did he?
And he said my cardio is great.
Yeah, all right. Well then, shit. Let me rethink. So
you're wrong. No, I'm joking. You got when you put out little intangibles like that, where you're assuming that you got to expect people to come at you. You know. That's
fine. I'm just. This is my thought process on this.
Yeah. It's why we love. It's why you're on the show. Someone asked why is Evan on the show? He's not sharp at all. Well, it's because of these thought processes. He offers something different.
Yeah, this is how we demonstrate how sharp Steve is by bringing on squares.
Yeah, it's needed. You know? I've realized when I haven't brought on guests for a while, I just look really bad. So I was just like, bring it back.
Yeah, guests are the way to go.
When Chad loses this week, he's next. He's on the rotation.
Chad might disappear if he loses the baby sharp tomorrow. He's talking about deleting his Twitter. I'm not kidding. I might screenshot this whole thing, put on Twitter because he got me cracking up. He's still going. Legit deleting my Twitter. There's no way I'll like this guy. How does the show even work?
Dude. Chad, there's something wrong with Chad. Chad will not be a good fighter. He would just be falling apart mentally.
Yeah, he's a character.
For all the trying so hard to make the French fans like him, Loki. We haven't talked about this, so we'll go past this fight quickly. What are your thoughts? You taking any French local crowd into consideration?
No.
I try not to because Mexico, you know, obviously it wasn't in Mexico.
Yeah.
But...
I mean, not really. More so the travel. I care about that more. I mean,
travel's always important. I agree.
Yeah. I played Preston Parsons in his last fight when he fought in England against Oban Elliott. And I was confident in Parsons, and I'm still confident that I think he's the better fighter. But he fucking traveled to England and came out super flat and looked like shit. And there's so much we don't know what the fuck's going on. But yeah, no, I don't know. As far as hometown crowd, maybe the tiniest little bit of consideration, but it's not something I factor in much.
Fair enough. I just thought I'd ask. We haven't brought it up once. I know, everyone likes to talk about these things, but so this fight we can go past it quickly because there's a fight that I think we're going to talk about a lot soon. So Morgan Charriere, Miranda, I basically think it's Morgan Charriere's fight to lose. You know, fought the who's who, even in Cage Warriors. You know, Vucenic now in the UFC, just a bunch. You know, Hughes, a bunch of title fights. Really good guy. Should have beat. You know, Chepe. That's his issue. You know, if you lift up your game and start making it a brawl, he will kind of let it slip away. But yeah, extremely durable, extremely good sub defense, which I think Miranda is sub or bust. Yeah, that's generally been his career with bad defense as well. So Morgan can probably light him up a couple times here. I thought the under 1.5 at first glance, you know, plus money. I was like, that's screaming my name. But again, you know, Charriere a bit patient. He only got Zucchini out of there with a body shot. Mm-hmm. On Cage Warriors, he's let a lot of guys go over that because he's kind of too technical, too patient. And Miranda will bring the war, but, you know, despite the fact that he gets dropped a million times, quite durable. It took, like 7 knockdowns from Benoit to just put him out cold and made it into round 2. I think Benoit, just the sheer aggression from Benoit, he will make your under 1.5 hit, whereas Charriere is the opposite. So I don't really like anything. You know, the general consensus is, you know, round 2, 3 for Morgan. I agree. It's, you know, but I just, those 2-3 props when they're really obvious. Sometimes I kind of miss out on them because I don't want to be too obvious. But that's probably this. Maybe just Morgan KO. Maybe just Morgan KO or Morgan sub in general. Just simple.
I did. I did the KO 2-3.
Okay. It probably looks amazing.
It was like round 2 KO. KO 2 was plus 400 on FanDuel. KO 3 was plus 700 on BetOnline. So that's what I went with. I'd be shocked if it was a first round because, to your point, he is patient and Miranda is kind of sub or bust, probably sub 1 or bust. So, and even if he does hurt him in round 1, I think Miranda is good enough on the ground to kind of probably stay safe. Like, I don't know if he puts him out, if he has that type of – Miranda's pretty durable for the most part. But, yeah, so that's what I did. KO 2-3. I know it's obvious, but sometimes obvious cashes, and hopefully it does this time.
You're right. Some cashes a lot of times, Herbert Burns' fights, catches all the time.
Yeah.
Catches all the time. Alrighty. So this is the one. This is the one that we're split on. And, as I said, I listened to the fight numbers thing with Pepe and Chad, and they were split too. Actually, no, they all agreed on one side. So now as I
don't have a side.
Okay. I was going to say, as a previous employee, because,
where did they all go with who? Battle?
No, they actually all went with Kevin Jousset.
Oh, okay.
Which was interesting because I personally think that Kevin Jousset's path is, another split decision. Because he's just a jab and leg kick merchant.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's good. He's better than, some of his lines were. He was barely a favorite against Crosby and barely a favorite against Kenan Song, and then he just clearly rinsed those guys. So he's better than what they were giving him.
Right.
But they were giving him those odds because he's just not as good as people think he is now. Because he, shut down Kenan Song with a jab and calf kick. And, we saw Kenan Song almost make a meal out of his freaking fight with the retiring Ricky Glenn in the last one. I just think Battle, has a lot of intangibles, size, he's got the power. He can play the same game Jousset can. Like, every time I start taping Battle again, I'm like, oh, right. A lot of kicking volume on the outside. Like, a lot of teeps. And he actually goes to the head, he goes to the body, whereas Jousset, outside the teep, just pretty much just the calf kick. A lot more power in the hands, underrated power in Battle, like level of competition. Even at middleweight, back in the day, submitting Petrosky. Like, who the hell has submitted Petrosky? Like, a really good grappler. That's his thing. And, yeah, just the reason I haven't locked it in, because it's, again, another juicy money line, and I'm just holding myself off from just locking in all the juice. Perez and Cavalcanti and Battle. It's like, don't want this the week to be where the dogs come through when I've just, like, unloaded the hammer and all the juice. But, yeah. I think I have to go back into it and look, because I noticed Jousset Battle doesn't really check leg kicks. And, there's a couple other things. But I've missed out on a few, like, amazing plays on him at chalk. Fletcher and Lusa. And he was clearly covering. Just because I've been looking into his faults. But I think as a fighter overall and trajectory, he's a really good chalky fighter. Durable. He gets dropped a lot, but he just comes back. He makes adjustments, and he just really good rear naked choke as well. So I don't know how Jousset wins. I guess having more volume in France. It's just one of those again. So I get it. If you're gonna play Jousset, I think it's Jousset by split again, or Jousset decision, and you just go from there. And I've actually seen Jousset hurt a lot on the regionals as well, and I know these guys well. Kit Campbell, not the greatest fighter. He had his had issues with him until he took him down and pounded him out. So yeah, what are your thoughts? Oh, you said you had no lean, really.
I taped it with an eye on betting Jousset, or just like maybe I was like, there's probably a side here. I don't think there is a side. I'm not taking a side. My biggest issue with Jousset is he is hittable. Fella is hittable. I mean, Kiefer Crosby was landing shots in the pocket. That is not good. Because Bryan Battle, he does a lot of like little point fighting, and he'll fill the space with front kicks and stuff, but he also has some pop in his hands. Gabe Green, that knockout, he can come upstairs with a head kick. He has a little bit more power than people like to give him credit for. Yeah, I don't know. I saw how hittable Jousset was, and I think this looks, for the most part, probably like a kickboxing fight. Maybe one over each guy. They might try to mix in some grappling. I don't know. I just didn't like how hittable Jousset was, so I said no, thank you. And Battle, to me, he's had some really bad performances, like against Renat Fakhretdinov. That was short notice. He is a different fighter on a full camp. by his own admission, and he talks about this. He's like, I've looked not great a couple times, and I took these fights on short notice, and I'm learning some lessons on a full camp. Nobody can fuck with me. I don't know if that's true, but I don't know. I think Battle is in a full camp. I don't love his training situation. He does not, but whatever. I do think Battle should be favored here. I'm not taking a side. I think Jousset might get hurt. He's so hittable from what I've seen.
Yeah. I mean, the one guy that got close to beating him that was on full camp was Trey Shangor. Really competitive fight. Again, a middleweight. Like, he's just two years ago, just such a different fighter at welterweight. Mm-hmm. So many intangibles, the height and the length, and probably carries down as well the power. Yeah, but let's move on. All right, this one right here. I wish I taped this one a little bit better. William Gomis versus Joanderson Brito. I love Joanderson Brito, man.
Me too.
I played him in so many fights. Back to the Contender Series, and then I lost against Algio, and then just kept coming back. Lucas and Hands, all these unders, round ones against the Bums, and Jonathan Pierce and Jack Shaw. That should have been a 2-unit play. I remember asking right before the fight started, I'm like, boys, this should be 2 units, right? But whenever I'm asking for like validation, it means I'm too scared to do it myself. So I didn't lock it in. He didn't knock out, or he didn't really get any takedowns against Jack Shaw, but he looked 90%. Like, he held him against the cage for like 8 minutes, no danger, didn't even gas. It looked like he could do 7 rounds of that against Jack Shaw. It was just like a levels fight. I think Gomis is a tougher matchup. I think Gomis is a lot more physical than someone like Jack Shaw. I'm not really high on Jack Shaw, especially at featherweight. I think he's got power.
Way bigger than Jack Shaw.
Oh, he's got a lot of things going for him. He's made to be a weasel. 6 foot, 73 inch. It's actually crazy. Joanderson has 72 inches of reach at 5'8". That's wild, man. This guy's built to destroy. And he's just a weasel, but he has athleticism and he has power and he has wrestling to use it. So he's got a lot of things working for him, Gomis. He seems to have a good chin too. He has good submission defense, right? Survived that Marshall rear naked choke. Survived the fully locked in triangle from Journo Aarons. So I like that stuff. It's like 50-50, glass half full. He's putting himself in deep subs, but he's showing heart that he's not even thinking about tapping. So I'm leaning the over. If you I know some people locked in Gomis. If you like Gomis, I reckon play the over. The Jack Shaw fight was sailing over, absolutely sailing over. And I think Shaw was live to get killed. That's why I wanted to play 2 units. Gomis is going to be negative. Obviously, he was hurt by a right hand from Aarons, but that guy also hits hard, in my opinion. So there's that risk. Brito can literally kill anyone. But yeah, I just have to, as I said, I wish I taped a little bit more before going live. I want to look into some more Gomis. I'm probably not going to tape the Yanis Gamori fight because that's one of the worst fights ever. Just horrible to watch. And just see, do I like this over? But that's how I'm leaning. And if either guy wins a decision, I'm good. Basically fading the Brito finish.
Yeah, I'm with you. I love Brito. I played him against Shore. I don't mind Gomis either. I bet Gomis against Francis Marshall, and everybody was like glazing Francis Marshall coming off the Contender Series, and Marshall couldn't touch him for 2 rounds. Now, it wasn't a very exciting fight, and then obviously Marshall had some grappling success in round 3. My biggest fear, I guess, is if Brito gets an early takedown. I think a sub is live. Because Brito's, like you said, he's built to destroy, and he's just so fucking strong, man. But I think I lean overs as well. I don't have a bet. I'm probably not going to bet it because there's a lot of fights. I have a lot of plays already. But, yeah, I think the line is accurate. I think Brito should cover him here. I think on the feet, he's just too explosive. Gomis is very negative. Skirt the outside, throw some kicks, throw some punches. Not a very thin margins. But maybe if this goes to the cards, again, what I've been saying all night is a lot of time it's like flip a fucking coin, man. But if I'm going to play Gomis, it's probably Gomis' decision. I'm not going to play Gomis, but I think Brito takes care of him, but the line reflects that.
You think he finishes him?
I think there will be an opportunity perhaps in round 1 when he's fresh. Right. Yeah.
I will say it's really scary to play Brito at Juice because he doesn't have much brains.
Yeah.
He doesn't have much brains and he never really has a game plan. He just comes out there and you don't know how he's going to fight. Like I was screaming at my TV. I was like, why are you grappling Jack Shaw? Like, do we know why he was chewing his leg up on the feet?
Yeah.
Why he insisted on grappling for 10 minutes straight? I was like, what? It's like he always takes the path of the most resistance.
Yeah.
Like, even against Algier, people say if Algier can do it, so can Gomis. I think Gomis has more tools than Algier, and Algier, a little bit washed. I thought he won that fight too. He was kind of like manhandling Algier and landed all the big punches in round 3, and then they gave it to Algier off one takedown at the end.
Algio's so much busier. That's the thing.
Yeah.
He won that just by being busy, where Gomis isn't that busy.
Correct, but also Gomis is not busy. He'll run away, but if you pressure him, he will counter you. So it's like he's also not getting hit. Whereas Algier is just in wars, he's scrapping. He was getting lit up by old mate.
True.
I forgot what I was going to say about that, but he was also grappling Algier and lost. And I'm like, why are you grappling? You're going to gas out. So definitely not confident in parlaying Brito. I see everyone is smashing the Brito parlays. No, this is not for me. Here we go. Danny agrees. If Gomis doesn't get subbed, he will weasel a decision. There we go. A lot of people agree with us. Keep agreeing. Yeah, fucks. No, joke. This fight, good fight. Nassourdine Imavov versus Brendan Allen. You have to assume this is kind of a title eliminator, and it's good to have someone that's not freaking Paul Acosta or 40-year-old Cannonier, and just I'm sick of this division. These guys are both in their prime, and they're quite good. It's good that they're fast-forwarding him to a shot. Hopefully it's not a boring fight. Hopefully it's not a draw or something that Dana White says, no one's getting a title shot off that performance. Because I just don't want to see any of those guys I mentioned in the title discussion again. Oh, yeah, I'm high on both these guys. Not really high on Brendan Allen. I faded him against Curtis off the couch, and Curtis really should have won that. There's something about Allen, amazing record. What is it, 12-2 in the UFC? He will just beat most people unless you get to the top 5. But there's something about him, again, a bit hittable. Should have really done much better against Chris Curtis, who's a one-dimensional boxer, and that's it. He doesn't have many tools to his game. He wants to take you back, and then on the feet, he's always open to get cracked. Whereas Imavov, a lot more technical. He's got the grappling. I think he's a lot more efficient. I think that's the best word to say. One guy's not efficient, the other guy's very efficient. So, taped a couple of Imavov fights, reminded myself how much easier he made the Curtis fight look before the no contest, without any effort whatsoever. He's good at shutting people down. I played him against Cannonier. That's one of the only times I've played him since the first few fights, because I've always been an Imavov hater. He used to gas and stuff, losing to Phil Hawes. I've held on to that. Played him against Cannonier, and he just got held up against the cage for so long. He doesn't want to get off the cage. And then I watched the Delize fight, getting held up against the cage after he hurt him. It seems like he doesn't mind being held up against the cage. He uses it as a rest or something. So, I don't want to play $1.44. I don't really want to play Allen. I mean, it's a dog or pass. I was kind of a thought came into my mind about playing Allen when I saw all the cage control. I'm like, that's his path. I guess the striking can be competitive, but I think Imavov, that guy is so good at hurting people. Heinisch, I never thought he would knock out Heinisch. I was on the overs there, lost my ass. Hurts people to the body. Obviously knocked out Cannonier. Yeah, I don't know. In France as well, man, he came out looking ready to go against Buckley last time in Paris. He was revved up, so confident, talking shit. Didn't want to break when Goddard wanted to give a pause. He's like, "No, get out of here. I want to get this guy out of here." But he gassed. I think the adrenaline got to him because of that. So I don't know. No, not really interested in this fight. I think the overs are a bit generous. What do you think?
I bet Imavov -210. That's kind of where it is around the market right now. And again, I don't lay a lot of big numbers. I don't love the bet, if I'm being honest. I don't know if it was an impulse thing. Brendan Allen is I think you said it perfectly. He'll beat a lot of guys in the UFC, but then he gets that step up in competition, and he has flaws on the feet. He is so hittable, and I think he's pretty fucking chinny too. I mean, that fight with Bruno Silva, they both rocked each other. Jocko fight was just a grappling kind of negative fight. Paul Craig, he got knocked out bad by Chris Curtis the first time they fought. He got knocked out by Sean Strickland. Imavov, that left hand is a piston, man. And I think that Brendan Allen's got that big chin and he plods forward on the feet. I think that he's going to run into some left hands here. And I think Imavov knocks him out. 3 rounds versus 5 rounds is interesting. Part of me thinks it's I don't know if it's good or bad for Imavov, the 3 rounds. Obviously his cardio has been spotty in the past, but he did just knock out Jared Cannonier in the 4th round. And Jared Cannonier historically has had pretty good cardio. But in a 3-round fight, I also feel like Allen weasels a fucking cage pushy, opportunistic takedown here and there type decision. I think on the feet, it's not competitive though. I don't think it's competitive on the feet. I think that Allen needs to make it dirty, needs to put him up against Cage. And to your point, Imavov is very complacent up against Cage. So maybe Allen can weasel his way through a decision, but I don't think Allen, I don't think he has a lot of finish equity here. I played it on Imavov. I'm not in love with it. I don't really play big numbers like that often. I just think it's on the feet. I just picture Imavov landing that left hand a lot, man. And it's really fucking sharp and really good. And we've seen Allen go down to lesser strikes. So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully I don't look square as fuck.
Yeah, I'm not overly confident, I'll be honest, on that bet. Like, if I had to force that, I would be a little bit nervous, but it makes sense. Like, I think it will look good early. My only issue is, relying on that defense, and then I was kind of relying on that against Punahele Soriano as well, and then it didn't happen, and he just ended up looking like a really competitive striking fight. So Allen's not the worst offensively; it's just defensively. That's the thing.
Yeah, I agree. He's got some decent strikes, but
he's very good.
He likes to throw that body kick, and the body kick is hard, and he's got skill. But even like when he's retracting that leg, his hands aren't where they need to be a lot of times, and he just gets hit flush too much.
No, and we got people saying, is it the fact that he didn't want to fight around that red flag? Not really. I think we all know that he doesn't like that. He probably can't go 5 rounds. Like, just sounds like a smart man.
Yeah.
Imavov cardio improved. I don't know if it's improved. It looks exactly the same to me.
Well, he got a 4th round stoppage over Cannonier.
Yeah, but you know what that is, right? That's because he dropped round 1, did fuck all.
So he took a round off his lane? Yeah.
And then Cannonier proceeded to hold him against the cage for 10 minutes. And it's another thing. It's like, you're beating this guy. Why are you letting him rest against the cage? And then Cannonier gassed from holding him against the cage, and Imavov got a rest, and he got a second win, and he came out and knocked him out. And everyone's like, oh, wow, I didn't see that coming. Imavov was meant to slow down. And I lie bet him. I'm like, the fight doesn't just go out, like play out how you always think it's going to play out.
I know.
He gassed himself out. I just don't understand these fighters. Like, they just love to clinch sometimes when, I don't know. Here we go. Pirate. Maybe this is Martian's burner.
Yeah.
Skipped over my second comment. What's your second comment? Not much to go off for cardio, but I think he's got this. I mean, there's plenty to go off. What do you mean? There's so many. There's so much fights. Even in the what's his name? The Lidze fight. He just kind of looked like he started to give up the last few rounds. He's like, I can't get a finish. I'm just gonna cruise here. All right, let's move on to the main event. And by the way, this is all friendly. I'm not attacking any of my listeners. Hopefully, you can take a joke.
Yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. Please like the video if you have not done so. Share the video, subscribe to the channel. You guys are awesome.
You don't have to do that, but yeah, leave a comment and tell me what you think of this layout.
I like the layout. I like the layout.
If you got autism, like subhuman gaucho, tell me if the circles are bothering you, because I don't want to be anti-autism, because I know our community is full of autism, especially the jiu-jitsu community as well. So you gotta know your audience. You gotta read the room. That's exactly. That's the sharpest thing you've said all show. I don't mind being anti-Semitic and other things, but anti-autism, I wouldn't come after my listeners like that.
He's kidding.
Yes, sure. The Lidze fight was mad. The Lidze is dog shit. Yeah, I mean, good on Pepe. Pepe hammered him there. I mean, it was a levels fight, but yeah, he's just a lot of minus CV with old mate Imavov. All right, Moicano, Benoit Saint Denis. I'll let you go. I got a strong take here. I'll let you go.
All right, I know what your take is.
I won't spoil it. Just tell me your take, mate.
I know I won't spoil it. I don't have a take necessarily. My take is I won't bet Benoit Saint Denis at this chalk. That's my take. I'm not saying I'm betting Renato Moicano. I think this is it's pretty close to the Imavov number. I would just say. Okay. Easier matchup. All right. I can't even. I'm looking. All right, look. I think that Benoit should be favored. I think he's a high octane fighter. I think he kicks hard as fuck. I think he can wrestle. Again, maybe I'm like learning a theme about fighters that I don't like backing. kind of like what I just said about Brendan Allen. Like, he's just so goddamn hittable. Kind of what kept me off Kevin Jousset was like, I think he's hittable. I think Benoit Saint-Denis is so fucking hittable. He's all offense all the time. There is no defense in this man's game. He did some really goofy shit against, obviously he was knocked out by Dustin Poirier. That's a huge step up. Poirier's a stud. I'm trying to think, because I did a lot of tape recently, looking at his recent fights. The Matt Frevola fight. He fucking jumped Gilly in round 1. People want to talk about Matt Frevola's wrestling. Like, oh, Matt Frevola was getting takedowns. Fucking Benoit Saint-Denis, for whatever reason, like stumbled, fell over. And then Frevola was trying to get on him. And then Saint-Denis jumps Gilly. That's a fucking smooth brain move if I've ever seen one. And then
I was on Frevola there, and I was like, this is a great bet. This is a great bet.
And then he works up, but in getting up, Frevola stayed on him, and then he had his hands locked against the cage under his head, and then got a big takedown. And then he got up again, and he fucking kicked his head off. He is all offense all the time. And that's good if you're killing guys. Renato Moicano has been killed, can be killed. He also showed against Jalen Turner. This guy's tough as fuck, man. He's a good fighter. I actually like his frame at lightweight. I definitely think that Benoit Saint-Denis should have a lot of success early. But what if he fucking gets tired? It's a 5-round fight. And this guy does not know pace. He does not seem to understand the concept of pace or the flow of a fight. Imavov might overcompensate for the flow of a fight, which is like take little breaks here and there. Benoit is so fucking tense. I don't know that this guy can go 25 minutes and not die. Do I think he gets him out of there early? Maybe he gets Moicano out of there early. I don't know, but I don't have a bet on the fight. If it blows out, if it gets crazy, I'll take a stab on Moicano. That's my take. Let's hear your take.
That's fair enough. I mean, I don't really. I just remember now why I taped this fight like second when there were so many good fights. I think it was because of the under 2.5. I thought it was a bit generous because, yeah, I mean, Benoit Saint-Denis. I remember really wanting to play the under 2.5 in the freaking Poirier fight. I don't know why I didn't. And the under 1.5 missed by 3 seconds. Right now, my hot take here is I know Moicano well from back in the day. Right, I was on him against Ortega, and he just fell apart, and he got guillotined because he couldn't handle the pressure and hitability. I faded him a lot. I faded him against Korean Zombie as a huge favorite. He's always been fragile. He's still fragile. Nothing's changed. He's 35. He's had a very, very extremely fortunate run getting Alexander Hernandez, Brad Riddell, who retired after that. He said his mind wasn't in the game. Right? There is no way Brad Riddell loses that fight like that, like 3 years before that, when he just got into the UFC. Drew Dober, I bet, which came down to round 3 and a freaking lateral drop fail. And Jalen Turner, I actually bet too. And took one punch at the end of the round to almost catch my bet. And, whatever, it didn't happen. And then it just fell apart. But I don't know if people noticed. The first strike of the entire fight, 2 seconds in, was a teep to the gut. And Moicano started retreating and he looked hurt. This guy's so fragile, right? So extremely fragile. And it just seems like they're setting up Benoit Saint-Denis. I think he's got away with it, right? Obviously, it made Rafael dos Anjos look like Ngannou. And not only that, but also the defense, like the takedown defense. I don't think he has the best takedown defense. Offense is good. It's like not the best. It's average. I just think Benoit Saint-Denis has like a massive hardware advantage here. Like the chin, the power. I think the wrestling is a lot more like Khabib-like when he just picks up guys, slams him. He looks to just use a heavy pressure. Whereas Moicano is like very jiu-jitsu, good at getting to the mount, great blinding the legs. But again, it's like guys like, Dober, who's traditionally never had good get-ups. Jalen Turner, we just spoke about him getting 30-27 by Frevola. Never fixed that aspect of his game. Only time he looked good was against Gamrot. But Gamrot was like 3 days out and still beat him. So, yeah, I mean, I look at these fights and I'm like, this is the pure aggression from Benoit Saint-Denis. It's like, how does he not run through him? Like, he will get taken down possibly. Like, as you mentioned, pulls, guillotine, does stupid shit. I watched his early fights against Arthur Shepaniak. Shepaniak just ran through a guy in KSW. He's a title challenger in welterweight in KSW. As I said, I love that promotion. And Shepaniak is like a Polish Khabib, right? He just takes people down. He's on all the roids. And he was taking Benoit down, and it was a back and forth fight. And then Benoit just broke him and rear naked choked him in round 3. And he's fought this kind of level of competition before, where people just grapple him, and he just wins. He's just like the more gritty guy. Even around his last loss before Poirier, he came out in round 3 and started landing on old mate Zheleznyakova when he looked like that fight should have been stopped multiple times. Zheleznyakova was like done. He's like, man,
that fight that's hard to watch. That fight.
Yeah, I don't have any more energy, and then Benoit's like coming and landing on him, man, and taking him down. Took him down in round 3 when he was a corpse and concussed. So I'm like, that's when I realized this guy will not fight for my money every single time, unless he gets put out, obviously, by Poirier. But yeah, a long way around. I ended it. I was taped way too many fights, and I'm just like, wow, okay. I wrote Benoit KO. I wrote under 1.5. I wrote under 2.5. Yeah. I'm like, my eyes just tell me that Moicano's been getting away with it, and now is the time that he's going to get run through. Literally hurt in every single fight. Like, this is just fragile. It's fragile. So that's how I'm leaning, and it's common sense, man. Like, why would I play him pre? I get it, like big line, but that's how they got me with Aries. Freaking big line. Like, there was no value in any line on that play. Like, it's big because, he's meant to get run through. And if he doesn't get ran through, then I'll be there with the live line like usual. I'm waking up at 3 a.m. for this freaking Paris card in Australia. Got to take advantage of live, even if there's no live, I still wake up just in case. So, yeah, I like all those. I like KO. I do think you can sub him too. As I mentioned, got subbed by Ortega. He's not some freaking unsubbable person, especially because Benoit is just a savage. But yeah.
A lot of glazing going on your part right here.
Hey, man, I'm trying to make my point because, after tape, it was just like a really strong read. I'm like, this guy's going to run through him. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I've been wrong before.
I agree.
But I'm not always confident. So
I think that the durability and hardware edge that you see is for sure very, very real. And I'll say, did you watch the Gabriel Miranda fight with Benoit Saint Denis? Obviously, Miranda was death gassed after 3 minutes, but
yeah,
I think Miranda hurt Benoit with a punch.
Maybe.
And then obviously he was on death's door against Zheleznyakova, and then he was just knocked out against Poirier. I don't want you to lose your ass by overestimating his hardware. That's all I'm going to say. I don't think Moicano is incapable of hurting him too either. So I don't know. That just was keeping me off Benoit. Is weird shit happens all the time. He just got knocked out. He's a flawed fighter. You're of a strong read. I'm passing. This is why cappers, we all see things different. It's really fascinating. I'm not trying to shit on your bet or anything like that.
I didn't bet it yet, but
oh, you didn't bet it. So
I just wrote down all the bets that I'll potentially make.
Oh,
the under, the KO, and I'm like, I like all these. I just have to decide which is the sharpest bet out of those.
Would you just bet his money line?
No, because I don't see a world where. I mean, yeah, I can see a world where Moicano survives because he survived many fights that he shouldn't have. And
the RDA fight, but it also felt like RDA was kind of letting him off the hook a bit.
Yeah,
too.
And also that head kick was the first proper strike he landed too, and then he almost knocked him out. I just think, we've seen it. If PSD lands a head kick, it's a different story. We've literally seen it in the second last fight.
His left kick is so good. It's by far his best strike. It's like an elite strike. It's a world-class strike. His left kick is nasty.
Well, I think he just throws it 110%. That's all it is.
But technically, it's very good too. It's fast. He retracts it well. It's got a lot of power. He sets it up. Sets it up is I use that term loosely here, but I
don't think he sets it up. I think he just throws it out there because he doesn't mind being countered. A lot of people are thinking like, if I throw this out, they're going to counter me, but it doesn't give a shit. It just gets countered all the time.
Yeah,
I agree.
Set it up is not the right term. But
I can see him kind of dropping him and hurting him. I don't disagree at all. That's why I'm thinking the under 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll hate myself if he just trickles over 2.5 seconds because Moicano is sitting on top of him, and then BSD gets up and just knocks him out, like end of round 3 or something.
I know.
He's got it in him, man. I've watched a few fights where he went to round 3 and he's got it in him. He just has no quit. And those early fights, he wasn't full time. Before Zheleznyakova, he was still in the army doing his thing. And you just see when he fought Stolze right after that, just patient. Khabib get a takedown, get the leg trap, and just slowly advancing to mount. Just 5 minutes of control. Round 2 again, takedown, and then Stolze just gave his back, and it was like the perfect performance. Didn't get touched. So I'm like, wow, this is completely different from that absolute rabies, wild shit-eating wild man.
Right.
But it's Paris, so we probably see that again. With just the guy just comes out to kill people. Did you see he changed gyms?
Someone in the comments said that. Where?
Yeah, he changed gyms, and it looks like it's like a more patient gym potentially. But I don't know if I'm bullish on that.
Yeah, we'll see. It's a great fight. I love this matchup. I love the card. I think it's a really good card. It starts at noon over here, which I love. I love it. I get to sleep in a little bit, go get an omelet, a cup of coffee. By noon, we're watching fucking fights, man. Gonna be live betting. It's gonna be great. Pumped.
I'm just pumped for this main event, dude. I love BSD. BSD in Paris is just gets the adrenaline going. I might just rip one out, jerk one off, just to calm myself down from. If I win my bet, I'm gonna have some sort of bet just so I can enjoy the carnage, enjoy the knockout, and enjoy the cash,
and then make the release all that much better at the end of it.
Yeah, I don't release often. I'm an advocate for no fap, by the way. Just so
Are you?
Know. Yeah, man. I've done it for 3 months once, and I'll tell you what, superpowers. I felt like I had superpowers.
Did you?
It's a wild thing, man. I know you can make fun of people for it, especially from a certain capper that cops a lot of shit for it. But yeah, man, I tried it, and I was like, full discretion, never been able to do 3 months again. Extremely hard. But when you get to it, man, I was
all
like,
right. So let me ask you a question, clarifying question, because we're talking about semen retention, obviously. But is it just no FAP, or is it no?
Just no fap, because having intercourse with someone else is a complete different thing, and
got it.
There's no bad things about fapping. But no, wait, there's no bad things about having
sex. Yeah,
yes.
Good. Yeah, I get that. I'm not fapping much.
I don't want to say sex because I've got kids listening. You know, this is a kid-friendly show.
Got it. I'm dating somebody.
All the kids listening are anti-Semitic. That's why I was allowed to say that before. But
yeah. Yeah, I like to save my manpowers for my lady.
Yeah, and you're 35. Like, you feel different when you do it now, right? You get tired, and I don't know if you do sport, but like, man, if I do it before jiu-jitsu, it's just too relaxed, too like weak, too. Yeah, that's all this. But when you go 3 months,
there's a reason that a lot of fighters. Well, I don't know. I mean, if it's a lot of fighters, but like, it's a narrative that in training camp, it's like definitely not rubbing one out.
No. But then it helps you with picking up women too.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I'm not advocating one way or the other. I think there's just time and a place. There's pros and cons. It's all good. Bad for risk control.
Correct. Crystal. Fapping leads to compulsive behavior, which leads to bad betting habits.
I like this guy.
Correct. Right? If you can't freaking hold your semen in because you're just fucking a horny bastard with no control.
You're a weak bitch.
How do you not lock in? How do you stop yourself from locking in a forced Imavov bet, right?
Yeah. I don't think it's forced. I don't think it's forced. I'm just nervous. I'm just nervous because I don't play those numbers much. That's why I'm nervous.
You're a fapper, mate. You've just been exposed with live on air.
I don't think I fapped in 2 weeks, probably.
Oh, well, thanks for letting the world know. Thanks for letting 37.
You brought it up.
Lads, if you're wondering, it's been 2 weeks since Evan's live. What a show. Hopefully people get something out of it.
It was good. Good show. Good show.
So, give me all your bets before we go. I've actually got training in 10 minutes. But
real quick. It's
all about, right? Free content, free bets.
I did the Cornolle dog shot, but also end split. Give me one of them, and I'm in profit. I also did that with Dariya, the dog shot and end split. Give me one of them, and I'm in profit. I bet Barez plus 105. I like that bet a lot. I think it's my favorite bet. And then I bet Ziam for 2 units, but plus 102. I got some pretty good line value right now. I got Charriere KO 2-3. And then I got my forced Imavov weak fapping bitch bet. That's what I got.
It's probably going to be the only one that hits, to be honest.
I know, right? I know. All the chalk comes through.
Yeah.
So you got Cavalcanti, and you're going to play the main event.
Correct. So, yeah, this is what I usually do. I usually give my leans because I generally don't have any bets when I do my podcast. But, yeah, I mean, I got Cavalcanti 2 units, which is big for me. Obviously, my units are smaller now, so it's easier to lay 2 units. But I feel like I would have laid it with 2K as well because I just felt extremely confident. Barez, yeah, something's stopping me, but I'll probably come around to it. Perez, yeah, it's clear favorite to pass for me. I just don't know if I want to lay that much chalk. Lapilus, favorite to pass. Maybe look at some unders in Klein. See, there's got to be a play there, right? See, we'll figure it out. Wait, we skipped Cornolle, even Erslan.
Oh, we did.
We completely skipped that fight.
Dude, this is so fucked up. I just commented, like, and subscribe, and it came through as fight numbers. Even though I got rid of that YouTube channel. Isn't that weird? Well, maybe it must not be completely gone. Anyway, sorry. I digress.
Yeah, that's an extremely volatile fight. I hate to agree with Chad, but I'm kind of leaving Ivan round 2 KO.
I want to see him. If he looks deflated or whatever, because he's a big, probably abused some supplements in his past. We'll see. I want to see the weigh-in. I'll be patient with that one. But I think Cutelaba ain't it.
I agree. But it's just Erslan, I don't know if you take them again. Another KSW guy. So chinny, man. So chinny. But so is Felipe Lins. And they made a meal out of it. So
true.
Yeah. Pass fight for me. And I thought I liked the under 1.5, but yeah.
I'm likely passing as well.
Yeah. Hello, Dad. Thanks for coming in and saying one offensive thing to me, and then that's it.
Baby Sharp! Let's go, Baby Sharp! Everybody catch MMA Giga Chad tomorrow night on Wager Wars. I'll tweet out a link and a betting line. Okay, I don't know who's going to be the house here for this, but we're going to have some action, two-way action. Chad is very nervous going head-to-head against Baby Sharp tomorrow. I'm rooting for Baby Sharp. We'll see what happens.
Dude, just do a line for Chad pulling out Wayne Day from anxiety.
Chad doesn't make the walk. Minus 200.
Absolute pansy boy. Here we go. Talking shit.
I'm 1-0. I'm 1-0, and I'm going on next week Wager Wars for UFC 307 against Blood Money MMA Bets or something. That guy. Well, Steve, thanks so much for having me on, brother.
Should be an easy win for you. All right. Like and subscribe. Peace out.
Peace.
You want to plug anything or nah?
I'm unemployed.
Unemployed, yeah. He's in the Big Brain MMA Discord if you care about his opinion, but
yeah.
All right. Peace out.
Peace.